Yo guys, hello and welcome back to episode 19 and 20 of the Red Bull Academy career mode here in Mexico. Now if you did miss the last episode out in Singapore, it was an amazing race for the boys. Go and check that out before you get any spoilers. Now yes, you did hear that right, we are out in Mexico at the start of this episode. Last time out in Singapore, we did manage to pick up the race win for the Racing Bulls team again. And as you may notice, we are not at Cota today because we DNF'd. And as you can see by this screenshot on screen, we were about 6 tenths off Lance Stroll. So that is sort of when you need to know that it is not your weekend and you need to pack it in. So yeah, unfortunately, there was nothing I could have shown you from the American Grand Prix in Cota, so we're going to move straight on to Mexico. Hopefully going to be a much better race here. I'm filming it straight after the race in Cota, so hoping for a little bit better luck. In qualifying here though, we set a few laps early on, not great laps, I'm not going to lie. We're currently in P17, so we are going to go for our final run here in Q1. Burning quite a bit of the battery down into turn 1. We've got to spot our braking zone, jump over the inside apex there, try and get a good line through this fast chicane. We run out a little bit wide, which means we have to lift off a little bit so we don't invalidate our final lap here. Would have been no more time to go round and start another one, so we have to make the most of this one. Get the first apex all right there, but the second one we miss it, and then this double right-hander, we're not as tight as maybe we would want to, and we're nearly 2 tenths down already on this lap, and yeah, it's falling apart for us at the moment, but we get a decent line through here, mount over that left-hander nicely, try and feed the car through this fast middle sector, and we're still about 1.5 tenths down. Fortunately, we did lose a little bit of time in this final sector as we run out a little bit wide again, having to lift off, but yeah, like I said, we did drop a little bit of time in this final sector last time around, and we've made up about 3 tenths of a second here. So we're going to cross the line. In qualifying, it's only going to be P17 again. So we are going to be out again in Q1 here in the Racing Bulls. So yeah, not an ideal start to this weekend either. Now, fortunately for the team, Arvid Lindblad managed to get out of Q1, getting in P11 initially. Yeah, the pace just not really here so far this weekend, but hopefully that can change on race day.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Antonelli, Oscar Piastri and Hamilton, Hadjar, Albon, Gasly and Ollie Behrman, Hulkenberg, Lindblad, Max Verstappen and Colapinto, Richards, Sainz, Valtteri Bottas and Lance Stroll, Alonso, Ocon, Perez and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So out in Q1 again here in the Red Bull Academy career mode. Not ideal at all, but race pace around here was pretty good in my Minardi My Team career mode episode. So yeah, hoping for more of the same around here in the race. Going to start on the hards, have a middle stint on the hards as well, and finish the race on the medium compound tyres. Hopefully we can be competitive towards the end of the race. And let's not waste any time. Let's get into the action. So towards the back for the Mexican Grand Prix, we're going to have 5 red lights here. And it's lights out and away we go. Getting a good launch off the line on the hard compound tyres. Neck and neck with Colapinto. He slowly drops behind us. It's 3 abreast ahead. Not burning too much of the battery down to turn 1. We do have to put it on again briefly because we're getting swamped towards the end of the straight. But we're going to feather the car around the outside into turn 1. Into turn 2, make a little bit of a lunge on Max Verstappen, getting past him and our teammate in the process. And making the most of the outside line around there. Verstappen gets back on the battery though. down the outside, but we're going to throw it down the inside into this slow speed chicane. Again, choosing the outside line, and we overtake Hulkenberg and Behrman there nicely. Still on the wide line, and we're up into the points already. 7 places off the grid is another amazing start inside this career mode. Instantly coming up behind Pierre Gasly. And that's an amazing start. A load of medium runners around us, so hopefully we can stick with these guys and we'll have the better tyres a few laps into this race, but we're gonna have to try and save some of the battery around here. Not waste it all in these early laps as we actually touch the rear end of Pierre Gasly there, unfortunately. But end of lap 1, an amazing start to the race. Let's see if we can progress any more. Towards the end of lap 3 now, and we've managed to stick with the cars ahead. Coming in to the final sector, braking very late, nearly running into the back of Gasly again there. But this time we're going to send it up the inside of the Alpine and feed in behind the Ferrari man. The proximity arrow was a little bit red there, so I had to go a little bit wide, but fortunately we keep the position. Traction out the final corner though, for me anyway, is rather tough around here, so trying to get a good exit out of there. We managed to get an okay exit, but Hamilton has left us for dead, and Gasly is going to go back down the inside in towards turn 1 and try and get the move back. We give him the squeeze to the apex. He's still there, but he backs out in the end, thankfully for us. And we're going to hold P9 for the moment here. Start of lap 5 now, and coming through the first sector, we managed to catch up to Hamilton a little bit. Gasly has dropped off behind us slightly, and we're going to go in towards this middle sector. Little gaggle of cars ahead, we're going to go and set up the switchback on the Ferrari man. Timed to absolute perfection there. We get past Lewis Hamilton up into P8 behind Alex Albon now. Hopefully we can carry on this pace as towards the end of lap 5, start of lap 6. Again, the guys ahead are burning. We are as well, but Hamilton is in the slipstream and he's going to come back down into turn 1. Albon swallows up Russell. Hamilton dives down the inside of us into turn 1. Unfortunately, we managed to hold it around the outside and keep the position on the Ferrari man, but it's going to be very hard to keep that Ferrari-powered car behind us as he's going to have another little look into this next section, but fortunately we are just far enough ahead. Going to try and set up the exit there, but not quite good enough. Start at lap 7 now, and pretty much a carbon copy. Hamilton's going to go down the inside into turn 1. We try and squeeze him a little bit to the inside, but he's much further ahead this time, so we have to back out there. And that's a good move from the 7-time world champion there. Lovely stuff. We're going to get back on the battery though, try and launch an attack again as it's almost 3 wide ahead of us. Albon, Russell and Hamilton a little bit compromised, so we're going to take the wide line and try and switch back again, and we managed to do it. Absolutely love that move into there. And yeah, back up into P8. Lovely stuff. Towards the end of lap 8 now, and we are right on the back of Alex Albon and George Russell. As our tyres are starting to become a little bit better, we're going to dive down the inside, a very unorthodox place to overtake around here. And we're going to get the job done nicely, get the overtake for the next lap on George Russell. Still got a pretty full battery, so we've managed to hold on to that nicely. It's a little bit squirmy out of the final corner yet again, which is going to invite Albon to get in the slipstream and try and beat us down into turn 1. We're burning the battery and we're only gaining on George Russell slightly. But fortunately for us, we managed to hold off Albon, going a little bit deep into turn 1 though, as we see what we can do with Russell. But the tyres are feeling really good around here at this stage of the race. Start lap 10 now, and George is a little bit further ahead of us, unfortunately, which is going to give Albon a much better slipstream, and he's going to go down into turn 1. We're going to try and hold it around the outside though, and we've managed to do it just about. Bit touch and go that one. He was quite far alongside, but we managed to throw the car into the corner and hold the position towards the end of lap 10 now. And George Russell is going to peel into the pits, so that's going to release us. A few other cars around us are boxing off the medium tyres, so Now it's time to use the rest of these tyres and try and do the overcut on these guys. Obviously, a very sort of rear limited track around here as well. Traction is quite important, but the safety car is going to come out at the start of lap 12. And fortunately, we started on these hard compound tyres, because if we had a boxed and then the safety car come out, we could have wasted a whole heap of positions. And of course, under the safety car, we're going to box now onto our second stint and our second set of hard compound tyres. Cheese in the pit entry there a little bit on the Delta, but we are not going to complain. Hoping for a good stop here from the boys, and it's a nice 2.4 second stop. Lovely stuff. And we're actually going to jump Isaac Hadjar in the pit lane. So amazing stuff. And we're going to emerge back on the track in P5. So an outstanding strategy decision there from ourselves. But Hadjar on the softs, Norris on the softs ahead of us as well. Hamilton going on to the mediums, so they're going to be very feisty from the jump. End of lap 14 now, and the safety car is going to come in. Not the best exit on to the start-finish straight, but we're in the slipstream of Norris. We're putting the battery on. We're going to see what we can do down into turn 1. He's on the softs. It might be the only chance we have to get him. He's moving a little bit on the straight, but unfortunately, he has the better tyres. He manages to outbrake us down into turn 1. We're going to have to fall in behind the McLaren man for now. Trying to get the tyres up to temperature. And we're going to try and launch an attack again on Norris, are we? We're going to send it down the inside at the end of the first sector. Try and set the switch back up slightly, but he blocks the apex, so we're going to have to go round the outside. Throwing it around the outside of the double right-hander as well, and we managed to get the position for now, or do we? Norris is still there. He looks around the outside, but we throw it down the inside and we managed to get up into P4. Lovely restart to the race here. Oscar Piastri and Kimi Antonelli up ahead now. Hopefully we can stay with them. It's going to be a big ask, but can we do it? Only time will tell, but we're managing to stick with them at this point in the racetrack, so no complaints from me. We're going to get the overtake for the next lap. We just want to get a decent exit off this final corner to hopefully try and stay away from Norris, but as you can see, the AI just have much better traction compared to myself, and Norris on them soft tyres is hungry for P4. So he is going to stay in the slipstream, he's going to pull out, and he's going to go down the inside into turn 1, having to be wary of Lewis Hamilton behind as well. But we've managed to outbrake Lando around the outside and hold on to P4 for now. Really good racing from the pair of us, in fairness. On the battery now, we're having a little look to see if we can get up to Kimi Antonelli, but unfortunately nothing doing there. Moving on to the start of lap 17 now, Oscar Piastri has been overtaken by Antonelli, and we're going to go and overtake Oscar Piastri. An audacious lunge down the inside gets us the position. He does try and throw it back down the inside of us, but we managed to hold the position again up into the podium from P17 on the grid. Absolutely amazing Grand Prix so far, but unfortunately we drop out of the overtake from Kimi Antonelli ahead of us, and yeah, that's going to give Oscar Piastri much more engine power down at the start finish straight. He looks down the inside. We go a little bit deep into turn 2, but again we managed to hold the position from the McLaren man. And yeah, you really need the overtake mode around here down that long straight. It's really crucial for your pace, but again, on the next lap, Piastri is going to fly back past us down into turn 1. We're just sort of running out of battery at this point, and we have to let the McLaren man go. Hope we can stick with him and get the overtake for the next lap, just so we can regain some of this pace and the battery. But fortunately for us, we do manage to stick with Oscar, and at the end of lap 23, himself and Kimi Antonelli are going to pull into the pit lane, so that's going to release us again in this Grand Prix. We're going to meet up in P2 as they pit for their final stints. Tyres still feel okay, but the undercut is pretty major around here, so we're thinking about pitting. But at the end of the lap, Leclerc pits and we're going to be promoted into the race lead, so we're going to go for one more lap. Hope the undercut is not too powerful and we have a good in lap and hopefully we can stick with them guys and try and get them back on the fresher tyres. So end of lap 25, we're going to pull into the pits, and fingers crossed we're going to have a good one from the boys. Unfortunately, we do. We have a 2.4 second stop again. But where are we going to come out? Leaving the pit lane now, it's looking like we're going to fall in just behind George Russell in P7. So fortunately ahead of Isaac Hadjar still. Start lap 27 now. We're in the slipstream of George Russell. We're going to have a look down into turn 1. He's starting to flash, but unfortunately he's just not close enough. Going to try and set up the exit now as we're much faster than the Mercedes at this point. In the slipstream nicely, got the boost overtake mode on. We're going to have a little look down the inside and we get the position nicely on the Mercedes man for now. Having to go around the outside. And yeah, up into P6. Lando Norris up next now on the hard compound tyres. The mediums though, they just do not feel as good as them hard compound tyres around here, and unfortunately we're not able to close in on the cars ahead as quick as I'd like anyway, as Russell is going to try and overtake us down into turn 1. We give him an almighty squeeze to the apex. Unfortunately we managed to keep the position, but we bounce over the exit curbs there, and unfortunately that's going to give Russell an opportunity to get back past us. But we're not going to let that slide. We're going to send it back down the inside of the Mercedes van and get back P6. 3 cars just up ahead. We're doing all we can to try and catch up to them towards the end of this Grand Prix. But the battery is very low, and Russell at the start of lap 29 is going to fly back past us down into turn 1. And we are nowhere near as close this time. We are not going to be able to throw it up the inside there. So we're going to look to stick behind him for now and hopefully get the overtake mode. And we do. Start of lap 31. Russell and ourselves have managed to catch up to Norris and Hamilton. We're going to have a little look, try and set up the switchback. Unfortunately, that does not work, but we're going to go round the outside in the double right-hander of Russell. And that's an amazing move here at Mexico. He's still alongside, but we go down the inside of the next corner and we make it stick. Now it's an almighty battle up ahead as Norris and Hamilton going side by side through the first sector. And we're going to have a little look to see if we can take any opportunities that present itself. We're having a little look round the outside of Norris, which turns to the inside, and we throw it up the inside, get the car stopped. And that's a nice move on the McLaren man there. Now just Lewis Hamilton ahead in P4. Piastri is quite far down the road. It would be pretty unrealistic to try and get him, but you never know. Hamilton is definitely going to be attainable in this Grand Prix. But start of lap 34, Russell's going to have a little look down the outside into turn 1. We brake super late, going a little bit deep. He actually goes for the switchback on us. Get a little bit squirmy at the exit of turn 2, and we have to take to the runoff. We decide to let Russell through, as that would not be fair, but we're going to go on the attack again round the outside and get the job done. A little bit more comfortable than the overtake on Norris, but really good there. Still in P5. Need to try and get up to Hamilton, but unfortunately at the end of the lap we run really wide into the final corner. Unfortunately we do not get the overtake either, which is just salt in the wounds, but that's going to give Russell the opportunity to go down the inside again. A little bit of wheel banging as we give him a bit of an unfair squeeze, not going to lie, but we're going to go down the outside into turn 1 again, try and defend from the Mercedes, and we do it again. Fortunately, all the battery burning there has managed to bring us slightly back closer to Hamilton, so hopefully we can try and get him, but it's not close enough. He just has superior traction through that final sector at this point. These tyres are starting to go off. Russell is burning down to turn 1. He manages to get us, but we're going to throw it back down the inside. We just about managed to get the car stopped. We try and set the switch back up through the next few corners, making a little bit of contact with the rear of Russell, but good move from the Mercedes man. And now we've got Isaac Hadjar trying to get past us. We go really deep into the next corner. We do not want to lose this place from Hadjar. unfortunately, we do not. Yeah, these medium tyres feel like absolute arse at this stage of the Grand Prix, and Russell and Hamilton are going to go off into the distance now. We're just focused on keeping Isaac Hadjar behind us. This will be really good, though, still, for our chances of that Red Bull seat next season. And he's looking to burn into the final sector, but we just have enough to cover him off for now. Charles Leclerc wins the Mexican Grand Prix here. Amazing drive from the Ferrari man. In an absolute world of his own, it seems, but we're going to go through the final corner. Very slidey, it must be said, but we're going to come across the line and finish P6.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And Leclerc to the line, to the checkered flag. It's King Charles today. He wins.
To witness such mastery of these.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So another good haul of points here for the Racing Bulls boys. P6 at the flag from P15 on the grid, actually. Our teammate, though, unfortunately, last on track of the people that finished, so he needs to improve. But we are doing all right as it is in the championship. P7, a good chunk of points ahead of Isaac Hadjar, but Max Verstappen is still leading the standings. We're in P5 in the constructors, so yeah, good weekend, all things considered. And that is going to be it from me, guys, here for the Mexican Grand Prix and technically the USA Grand Prix. But thank you all so much for joining me. Hope you have a good evening and cheers.